The Let's Go event is starting around the world in Pokemon Go, and I want to help you guys make sure you take full advantage of this event by covering the best tips and tricks for this event. So without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with the event details. So this event is March 21st, 10 a.m. to March 29th, 8 p.m. all local time. Once during the event, we're going to have a reduced time for opening a mystery box. My guess is every 2 days, but I'll put it on screen. 2 times transfer candy, an increased chance of finding extra small and extra large Meltan spawns, as well as an increased chance of finding Ditto disguised as other Pokemon in the wild. Also, Meltan during the event will be unshiny locked, which is normally a shiny locked Pokemon. We'll talk about how to get Meltan in one of our tips. Now, wild spawns during the event are going to be Diglett, Grimer, Snubbull, Corphish, Starly, Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour, which all of them are spawning globally. They're normally regionals. Roggenrola, Tympole, Litleo, and rare spawns for Trubbish, Galarian Stunfisk, and Goomy. Note as well, what can be a Ditto has changed, in which now Diglett, Grimer, Snubbull, Corphish, Starly, Roggenrola, Tympole, and Litleo can now be Dittos, and you'll notice a lot of them are actually wild spawns during this event. 5-star raids during the event are going to be Thundurus Incarnate until March 28th at 10 a.m., switching into Lugia for the remainder of the event, and Mega Raids will be the same until March 28th. We have Mega Venusaur switching into Mega Alakazam on March 28th at 10 a.m. Now, as for most events, we also have some exclusive research going down. Starting with field research tasks, the task is going to be catch 3 Dittos. It will get you either a Pansage, a Pansear, or a Panpour encounter. There'll also be a collection challenge which you can complete only during the event. You will need to catch a Ditto, Pansage, Pansear, Panpour, and this will get you 5,000 XP and a Meltan encounter, which can be shiny. Finally, there's going to be a new season-long special research, which if you don't remember, those like researches where, you know, 4 pages get unlocked, and then we have to wait like 8 years, and then more pages get unlocked, etc., etc. Special research is going to be called Let's Go. It's going to be on screen. There's going to be only 3 pages available so far. Very simple tasks, you know, catch Pokemon, transfer Pokemon, feed Team Go Rockets, etc. Getting you some very average items, some encounters with some Pokemon, and then once you get to page 4, you are going to be locked until we get more pages, which will probably be in some future events in the season. With the event details out of the way, let's get right into the tips, starting with, of course, the best wild spawns during this event. First of all, we have Diglett, which can, of course, be a Ditto, so catch that Pokemon if you're in need of a Ditto. We also have Grimer in there, in which Grimer can be a Ditto, and Grimer also evolves into Muck, which is not a bad Great League and Ultra League safe swap Pokemon. We also have Snubbull in there, which can be a Ditto, and also Snubbull evolves into Granbull, which is not a bad Great League or Ultra League Charmer, and also not a bad Fairy type Raid Attacker. We also have Corphish in there, which can, of course, be a Ditto, so catch that if you need Ditto. We have Starly in there, which, first of all, of course, can be a Ditto, and Starly evolves into Staraptor, in which Staraptor is not a bad Great League or Ultra League closer. Pretty spicy Pokemon to run, but he can have success with it. Also, Staraptor is not a bad Flying type Raid Attacker. Now, Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour are, of course, all regional, so make sure you catch those just to get them in your Pokedex if you don't have them. Roggenrola is in there as well, which can, of course, be a Ditto, and also Roggenrola evolves into Gigalith, which is not a bad Rock type Raid Attacker with its legacy move, Meteor Beam. We have Tympole in there, which can, of course, be a Ditto. You're going to notice a trend. It's a very Ditto-focused event. And finally, Litleo in there, which can, of course, be a Ditto, and also Litleo does see play in some Little Cup formats. Also, Trubbish is in there, which Trubbish gets you 750 Stardust, I believe, every time you catch it. So if you're in need of extra Stardust, make sure you catch those Trubbishes. Galarian Stunfisk is also going to be spawning in the wild, which is an amazing Great League Pokemon, one of the best, as well as a good Ultra League Pokemon. So definitely get yourself some good PvP IVs if you can in the wild. Finally, we have Goomy in there, which evolves into Goodra. Goodra does see some play in some Master League Premier metas, so definitely not a bad Pokemon to add to your roster, but it'll probably get a community day in the future. Now, with the spawns out of the way, let's talk about the raids. What are gonna be the best ones? Now, I don't know at the time making this video what the 1-stars and 3-star raids are because they didn't announce them, so we're just gonna be covering the 5-star raids. First of all, before we get Lugia, we're gonna have Thundurus Incarnate in raids. Unfortunately, this Pokemon is not very meta relevant at all. With a move shakeup, it could potentially see some play in the Master League, but for now, not very strong Pokemon. The only thing you're really doing is getting XL candies for Thundurus Therian form, which if that comes back is a good Electric type Raid Attacker because they share the candies. But when it does switch into Lugia, Lugia is going to be a very strong Master League Pokemon. So when Lugia does come to raids halfway through this event or near the end of the event, make sure you get them because it's a very strong Pokemon for the Master League. You definitely want one on your roster. And good if you have the Shadow versions or the Apex Shadow versions to get candies for. And then we have the Mega Raids as well. Mega Venusaur, of course, a very strong Grass type Mega. Mega Sceptile is better than it, but still you can get a little bit of Mega Energy for Mega Venusaur. It's switching into Mega Alakazam, which is the best Psychic type Raid Attacker in the game right now before Mega Mewtwo. It even does well as other types of Raid Attackers like Ghost and Fairy because they can learn those types of moves. It has an insanely high attack stat. So definitely worth raiding that Mega Alakazam when it does come back because it is a very strong Mega in the game. Now we do have to talk about Meltan. How do you go ahead and get Meltan since this event is mainly focused on Meltan and Ditto? Now if you didn't know, everyone can get Meltan for free in Pokemon Go. You're gonna go ahead and open up your app. You're gonna come to settings. You're gonna come to connect devices and services and go to Pokemon Home. Now you're gonna need to download the app Pokemon Home onto your phone and make a Nintendo account. Once you've opened up Pokemon Home, sign into your Nintendo account, it's then going to ask you to sign into your Nintendo account on Pokemon Go. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and click send Pokemon, and this is how you're going to get a Meltan box. You're going to go ahead and click on any Pokemon, click transport, and send it over to Pokemon Home. It'll tell you to open up Pokemon Home to finish moving it. You'll click start when you open the app, and when you open the app, it's going to say Pokemon Go link, click yes, click receive at the bottom, click view transferred Pokemon, and then click receive. Now, once you come back into Pokemon Go, when you click the transport button here, you will get a Meltan box if you don't already have one. I already have one, so I'm not getting any. You can then go ahead and open up a Meltan box. It will spawn one Meltan every single minute, and it will last for 60 minutes. You don't have to be moving to use it. And of course, Meltan can be shiny during this event, which will have a 1 in 64 shiny rate based on past events. So that's pretty much how you get shiny Meltan. Now, no, you can't get a Meltan box with that method every single day. There is a cooldown in which during this event, I do believe it's going to be 2 days. Again, I'm not sure since the event hasn't started, but I will put it on screen. But to get the maximum opportunities for shiny Meltan, make sure you open a Meltan box the day the event starts, and then every single coinciding day as early as you can. If it's every single 2 days, I believe you should be able to open up to 5 Meltan boxes, which is 300 Meltan spawns. Gives you a pretty good chance of getting a shiny. Finally, if you did buy that ticketed special research for the Season of Rising Heroes, that gets you that medal with double iron bash, the legacy move, you now have access to evolving Meltans into Melmetals to get the legacy move double iron bash. So if you do get a shiny, you might as well evolve it into Melmetal, and then you can keep it to use as trade bait since it will know double iron bash. A couple things about Ditto now, since this event is very focused on Ditto. Now, if you don't know how Ditto works, it will disguise itself as certain Pokemon in the wild, in which it'll disguise itself as pretty much every single spawning during this event. So for example, you catch a Tympole, there's a chance it's actually a Ditto. If you're trying to get shiny Ditto, you're gonna be looking for non-shiny versions of all these spawns. So if you find a non-shiny Snubbull, there's a chance that turns into a shiny Ditto. So no, you can't find a shiny Grimer and then it'll switch into a shiny Ditto. Once you find a shiny of one of these Pokemon, it's guaranteed to be a shiny. Ditto shiny rate is about 1 in 64 based on research, so most likely that's gonna be the shiny rate you're looking at, so you should be able to get one during this event. And also, if Ditto is a spawn for you, it will be a spawn for your friend. So if you find a Ditto spawn in the wild and say, hey, that, Roggenrola is a Ditto, your friend can go ahead, cash out Roggenrola, and it's guaranteed to be a Ditto for him, but it could even be a shiny Ditto for him. Now let's talk about candy tips. How do you get a lot of candy during this event? First of all, using Pinap Berries, you can use regular Pinap Berries to multiply your catch candy by 2 and silvers by 2.34. You can also Mega Evolve during this event. If you don't know, when you Mega Evolve a Pokemon, any Pokemon you catch that's the same type as that Mega, you will get more candy, more XL candy, and more XP for catching that Pokemon, depending on the level of the Mega you've Mega Evolved. I highly recommend take a look at all the spawns on screen and decide, hey, what Pokemon do I want the most candies, XL candies for? Some notable ones here would be Galarian Stunfisk. Goomy's not a bad one to get XL candies for. You go with Grimer if you want to get some XLs for an XL Alolan Grimer in the Great League. It's a little spicy though. In general, I'd recommend Mega Evolving a Ground or Steel type for Galarian Stunfisk or a Dragon type for Goomy. Get some more candies for those Pokemon during this event. You can also transfer during this event because we do have 2 times transfer candy. So any Pokemon you've caught from past events that you want extra candy for, or any Pokemon that you catch during this event you want extra candy for, make sure you transfer them during this event. Do a good clear out because we do have 2 times transfer candy. Obviously, it's not 2 times, XL transfer candy, which kind of sucks for some Pokemon, but if you do need to clear out some Pokemon, this is the event to do it. Finally, you can trade Pokemon during this event. If you don't know, when you trade Pokemon, if the distance between those 2 Pokemon where they were caught is more than 100 kilometers, you're going to be guaranteed an XL candy for the Pokemon you're giving away. So if I trade away a Goomy caught in Ottawa for a Charmander caught in Vancouver, I will get a guaranteed XL candy for Goomy. So if there's any Pokemon in the wild here that really there isn't other than Galarian Stunfisk and Goomy that you want extra XL candies for, make sure you trade them away with a friend that has caught Pokemon from a distance. Finally, last thing we'll talk about here is medal tips. You need 35 platinum medals, go from level 48 to 49 Pokemon Go. Which ones should you work on during this event? First of all, of course, the type medals here at the bottom. If there's any of these that you haven't completed, for example, the Dragon Tamer medal, catch 2,500 Dragon types, make sure you catch those Goomies during the event, or whatever corresponding type Pokemon spawning during the event. We also have the Scientist medal, evolve 2,000 Pokemon, and this also doubles as an XP grinding method. Roggenrola spawning in the wild, in which if you trade a Roggenrola and evolve it once, then when you evolve it from Baldor into Gigalith, it's completely free. It's a trade evolve Pokemon. Both these Pokemon are really, really easy and cheap to evolve. So if you and your friend get a bunch of Roggenrolas, mirror trade them, and so you can go ahead and save them and just spam evolutions to work on this medal. Also, it's a great XP grinding method if you put on a lucky egg and make a lot of evolutions to work on a little bit of cheeky XP. You can even wait for a 2 times evolve XP spotlight hour, which I'm not sure if we have another one this month, but yeah. Now there is an increased chance of extra small and extra large Meltan spawning during the wild. So the tiny Pokemon collector and the jumbo Pokemon collector are medals that you can finally work on. Make sure you open those Meltan boxes, even if you don't care about the shiny, just to work on this medal. Try to get all your jumbo Pokemon, all your small Pokemon, and complete these 2 new medals. Finally, we have the Rising Star medal, defeat 150 species of Pokemon in raids. You take a look at the raid roster. Obviously, I don't really know what the 1s and 3-star raids are, if we even have any, but if there are any Pokemon in raids that you have not raided at least once, make sure you do them once to work on this medal. Okay, now this event does have a second part, the Team Go Rocket Takeover event, starting on March 25th to March 29th, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited for. Yes, another Team Go Rocket Takeover already. I will have a video out on Friday night about tips for that event, so if you're curious about the Team Go Rocket event, you know, what are the new shiny shadows? I hear that shiny shadows can be coming from grunts now as well, which is crazy. How to beat Giovanni, you know, what Pokemon to remove frustration from, all that stuff that you guys love to hear. I'll be dropping on Friday night, so come tune in. But that's it for the Let's Go event, the main portion of it. Good luck getting Shiny Meltan and Shiny Ditto, because that's like the main focus of this event, and follow for more tips. Peace.